as the comforter fell off of the moose, that specifically is what is staring out at you right now
Oh, good.
in a very dark room. Feeling pretty good about that?
No, you feel great. So before, like when Penelope threw the comforter over the moose, she got out her phone to start texting her manager.
By the light of your BlackBerry, you can actually see it reflecting a little bit off of her. But most of it goes through her and onto the moose, which is still behind her.
She yelps and then is like, "Can I help you?"
She floats a little bit closer to you. She doesn't say anything. She just floats closer and smiles at you.
Oh no.
She's just flying around you for a sec.
I don't like this.
Looking you up and down, trying to like get a sense of you. And then she goes back through the wall
Oh god.
and disappears.
Penelope's gonna get out of bed and just like run down the hall as she just starts like pounding on Anice's door, like, wake up, wake up, wake up.
You can roll your perception again.
Nope, still asleep.
You're having a good nap there.
Okay, when she doesn't get a response, she's just gonna run down the hall and on Kwaku's door, just like, wake up, wake up.
She seems to be floating around you again, but not touching you, not interacting with you. And then she goes back. Seems to go back into Anice's room.
She's gonna try the doorknob this time. Is it locked?
Yeah, I would have locked it.
Kwaku does poke his head out the door, like, yes?
She runs back down. Ghost!
Oh.
There was a ghost!
I suppose we were expecting that. All right.
It's in my room!
In your room?
And now it's in Anice's room!
Oh, hey you. We have a ghost. Let's go. Lead on.
But her door's locked, so,
Have you tried knocking?
Yes, a lot.
Raps, could you knock? Boom, boom, boom. You hear a very loud thundering boom on your door.
I get up and go over to the door and open it up and I go, yes?
The ghost is in your room!
What?
The ghost was in my room, and then it went through the wall, and now it's in your room? There's
I
a
guess
ghost!
I'll poke my head back in and look around.
Are you leaving the lights off?
I'll go ahead and turn them on.
You turn your lights on. When you do that, you sort of reflexively close your eyes just to adjust so you get that red color instead. And you can actually see an outline of something just in that instant from your closed eyes. And that something is actually poking out from under your bed. But you don't see it now that the lights are on.
I guess I'll go check.
Would you like us to come with you?
I'll just kind of crouch down and look under the bed.
When you look under the bed, in the dark under the bed, once again you see her. She's looking out at you and she's smiling from under the bed.
Blinking sleepily, and I just go, hi there.
She replies to you in German, a broken cup. No one needs a broken cup.
I am wide awake now. I'm like, what do you mean a broken cup?
No one needs a broken cup.
Can you say anything else?
What they need is a cup that holds. A cup for 7, not a cup for none.
Can you tell me your name?
I am a broken cup.
She's saying that she is a broken cup and no one needs a broken cup? In German? What do I want to do about this?
Do you think she is afraid of the lights?
Possibly. I don't know why she would be under the bed otherwise.
Would you like me to turn off the lights? She's not doing anything aggressive. She seems to think she's communicating with you somehow. Like, this is something that's supposed to make sense to you. When she turned to look at Penelope, she shifted her head, but she's keeping her body squarely over a spot, and she's just sort of moving her head around to everything else, like she doesn't want to leave that space.
Penelope's gonna stick her arm under the bed and like try to poke her.
Your hand just goes through her.
Can you ask her if she's stuck under here?
I'll ask if she's stuck under the bed.
She smiles back at you when you ask that question, and then she replies, a broken cup can point the way. She inches back a little bit. You can see that while there's a carpet covering the entire floor of the room, there's a spot under the bed where it looks like the carpet's actually been cut. Like you could presumably reach into and under it, like maybe something is hiding under the bed.
There's something under the bed. A place where the carpet looks weird, and she's right above it. So she's not going to hurt us. I don't think she's going to run away now. So we can turn the lights off. Can you ask Raps to come in here and pick up the bed, I guess? Kwaku?
Sure. He's very helpful for moving. Let's give him some space. Raps lifts up the bed fairly easily. When he does so, it goes right through her. She just floats through the bed and out the bottom. She points at a little hook on the edge of that carpet bit that was much harder to see before, but you can see it with your dark vision now. It actually glints a little bit in the reflected snow light and the blackberry light. Raps is now holding this bed up.
I also just realized I'm not doing the accent.
Okay.
You're sleepy. It turns out that's your daytime voice.
speak like an American when I'm too tired. I guess I'll pull the hook.
You find 3 things stored in a small, like, cavity of the floor. But the first thing you find is a big old shiny halberd. It's actually sandwiched in between these outfits. One is purple and one is black. Just the outfits. There are no people in them. Stored away under the bed. And when that happens, the ghost floats over to them. She kind of paws at the fabric and then mimes putting on the hat. And then she smiles at the two of you and she says, "A broken cup has shown you the way." And then she disappears.
She wants us to wear them, I think. Maybe that's how we'll get through the ghosts in the forest.
Maybe.
Well, through the barrier. Is one of them, like, comically small, or...
No, they are the normal sizes. Would you like some help fitting into one of those?
Please.
I happen to know a lot of very helpful individuals when it comes to weaving and sewing.
As long as I don't have to look at them.
Your ghost seems to have left. You've got some new outfits. Your golem is holding up a bed that you presumably wanted to sleep on.
Perhaps you can put the bed back down, buddy.
Lowers the bed. Doesn't drop it, though. Actually puts it down at a reasonable pace. Well, I guess we'll get to work on resizing this, and while I'm at it, I'll check it and make sure it's not haunted.
Oh, good. Yeah, that'd be great.
Shall we plan to head out at dawn?
Sure, I guess.
Before Penelope walks out the door, she's gonna be like, "Good night." Flings herself onto the bed like, "Ugh."
The best part now is that nothing else happens.
Hooray!
Yay.
It has become daytime.
Penelope's gonna get up. And she's gonna run downstairs. Good morning!
Is it, though?
I mean, last time I checked, it is morning.
I meant good.
Oh.
It's far too early. Winter is a time for sleeping in. Summer is when you are awake at dawn.
The cowboy gives you both a coffee.
Penelope asks for a whole pot of coffee.
A whole pot?
A whole pot.
Well, I reckon I can get you a whole trough if you like. Yeah, he actually leaves you the pot.
Thank you! As she's talking, she's already, like, knocked back one cup and is refilling the next cup.
Impressive.
Would you like more?
I'm still working on my second. Thanks.
Okay.
You can see Gunter almost make a comment, almost suggested that you ease it up or it'll stunt your growth, but he thought the better of it.
Gunter, does the phrase "a broken cup" mean anything to you? Have you heard anything about a broken cup?
I don't reckon I have. Where did you hear that?
Ghost visited us last night, that's all. She was very pale and had white hair and red eyes and kept saying that she was a broken cup.
Sounded like your girlfriend.
They say that the ghosts that you see out near the woods do tend to look about like them. That's why they call them the White Witches. Did she hurt you?
No, she didn't. Just startled us mostly.
Mighty peculiar, but perhaps she's friendly.
Penelope is on her third cup of coffee and is, like, very pointedly being like, "Yep, I'm drinking another fucking cup."
Gunter knows better than to cross a woman before she's had her 4th cup of coffee.
Hello, welcome to Penelope.
The two of you are going out to see my friend shortly, right?
That's the plan.
All right, well, in that case, let me just give you some of this. It's a bit cold out there. You might appreciate it. He puts a thermos on the table in front of you. You recognize immediately the smell of yeehaw chili. This'll keep you warm.
That it will. Where is Kwaku?
Penelope is finishing her 4th cup of coffee.
Oh, good coffee.
She just slides the rest of the pot over to Kwaku.
What kinds of teas do you have?
We've got some Earl Grey and some Earl Green and some Earl Red.
I don't know that I've heard of the second two.
Oh, they're a regional delicacy.
I'll take one of each then. I suppose I'll try the red first.
It actually is just a normal red tea. It seems like he just likes to think that tea are named after their color, with Earl coming before it for some reason. Like the green tea also just looks like a green tea.
Yes, these are quite interesting local delicacies.
You get the impression that the finer world of tea is lost on this German cowboy.
Oh, Kwaku, our guest has given us a fine thermos of yeehaw chili to keep us warm. Isn't he so generous?
Well, I'm a fan of not freezing to death. Thank you very much, friend Gunter.
How was your night? Did you sleep okay?
Oh, yes, I slept fine. In fact, the thing that I'm doing for you is ready whenever you'd like to check it out.
Oh, good.
I made an assumption on your measurements, but I like to think I have an eye for this.
I hope so. So 4 cups of coffee was too... well, hold on. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna roll this.
Roll Constitution.
Roll Constitution.
That's probably wise.
Oh!
Oh,
Oh
You're doing that thing where your foot is rocking and you don't realize it, but
Whatever.
everyone can hear the thump, 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 especially because, like, your feet don't go all the way to the ground, so you're just hitting the stool into the ground.
How many cups have you had?
I don't remember.
You should stop. Perhaps you should have some milk or water or breakfast, perhaps.
Ooh, yeah, food would be good too.
Get some food in your stomach.
Gunter, bring me the whole menu.
The breakfast options are pretty standard fare.
I'll take the pancakes.
Oh, they don't have like fun pun names.
There's an understanding that when people are first waking up in the morning, they don't want to think any more than they have to. Would you like
we
some
say
kind of
that-
berries on those?
What kind of berries?
Blueberry, raspberry, Earlsberry,
What's an Earlsberry?
the blackberry. It's named after the tea, I think.
Can we say that Anise ordered some kind of breakfast?
Yeah. Eggs, bacon, fruit, your choice, waffles or pancakes, all that.
I'm gonna assume he has Texas toast.
Yes. It is very thick. It is cut at an irresponsible thickness.
It's a full third of an entire loaf of bread.
This is like the CCC toast.
Penelope inhales her pancakes. I'm gonna go upstairs to get dressed.
Okay, I will go get it for you. Fun fact, these are not cursed or haunted or anything that I could tell about them, but they do have a unique property to them. They seem to be reinforced. Are you familiar with the forms of magecraft that are used to make things more durable than they should be? This is actually something that's called reinforcement. It's a type of magecraft where you alter the properties of a thing to make it more durable and do a better job of whatever it's meant to do. But in the case of clothing, it would make it harder to damage, harder to get messy. It would explain how they keep their robes so white. But also, it's actually pretty durable. I hung it up on the bear, and I had Raps hit it. And it didn't break it or the bear. I would recommend perhaps wearing it at least for the time being, seeing as we're not exactly armed. Shall we head out?
Did Gunter say anything when we walked downstairs wearing those outfits, by the way?
Oh, Gunter sort of looks out from the kitchen. He hears the group of you walking out, and he just sort of does that whistle thing that cowboys are known to do.
I need to know.
And then he taps his hat to you, and then he goes back in the kitchen. Okay, so you've gone outside. It is still snowing. It seems to actually be picking up. There's more snow here than you saw even on the drive up. Something's up with that.
Let's walk into the woods.
Yeah.
So, as you step into the trees, the two of you don't notice anything, but Kwaku stops walking for a second. He looks a little disoriented, but he sort of shakes his head and continues walking forward. Okay, so the world twisted a little bit there, but I think I'm okay. I can see how that would throw off someone if they were already drunk, though. Did either of you feel that?
No.
I suspect it might be the clothing.
It would make sense, given it's what they wear. I thankfully have a fair bit of mental fortitude on my side. Perhaps that is why our necromancer friend would have trouble getting in. He's picked up a lot of city miles, and he might not be able to handle that. Yeah, the snow's coming down pretty heavy once you go in the woods. It's actually way worse than it is outside.
It is March, right?
It is in fact March.
He's gonna let Raps out now. It's a bit cold, as we expected, I suppose.
We've always got the yeehaw chili,
No, I'm good.
which I actually did bring along.
It becomes more appealing as I lose touch of my toes, but we're not there yet. So I don't suppose she told you where she lives in these woods. Or should we assume it's the castle?
I would assume it's the castle.
Well, at least we shouldn't be able to miss it. It's rather large, from what I've heard. Lead on, Raps. I'm sure you can find the way. Once you get past those trees, you can see a little bit more, actually. The snow is picking up as you go forward.
Like, how thick is the snow on the ground?
Probably about 6 or 8 inches.
Because you're small. You'd probably be having trouble with it, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to cast Long Strider on you, which increases your speed by 10 feet for the duration of an hour.
Oh, good.
I think I can see something of it. Oh, yes, I totally can.
You can see a bit of a cliff face. It's about 10 feet up. The snow around that is way, way thicker. It's actually like looking into a snow globe. It's like a small localized blizzard or something is going on. There's a bunch of wind. It's going in a sphere. It's not just flying outward. That is definitely not normal.
There's something weird over there.
It might be related to the snow. This looks similar to an actual like blizzard spell. Not actually blizzard, because that would be ridiculously strong magic, but it reminds you of it, the way that it has this weird cutoff point right there where it suddenly drops down to less snow, but still snow. It's almost like something is persisting in that area.
Don't know for sure that it's causing the rest of the snow, but it's certainly something magical.
Penelope can see that the really concentrated snow thing actually has something inside of it. It's a statue of some kind. Anise can see that, but she's a bit preoccupied because she can also see something else.
So it's surrounded.
Oh no.
You saw them just in time. This guy gonna move up here, go after the biggest, scariest thing it can find. So it definitely managed to hit the little ice devil. He just flew over to your buddy Raps, and then he exhaled a bunch of cold air on him.
Rude.
Very, very minimally hurt. It took 1 damage. Let's go to the next action. And he is going to go after the tiny one. And he hits. The claws rake into you, and you notice 2 things. 1, this little monster clawed you, and it hurt.
Ow.
But 2, where it clawed you feels really numb, like almost immediately. Super cold. It's like you were stabbed with an icicle. Your silk golem is up. Your silk golem is not waiting for orders because something tried to hurt him. He's gonna do what he do when things try to hurt him. He's gonna hit the one that hit him back. Raps sort of pulled back and slammed down on this thing, and it shoved it clearly into the snow, like almost like its nose was just buried face deep in. It's not actually stuck at the snow, but it clearly wasn't expecting that level of retribution, especially because it's happening again. And it's dead. Just bam. Instant death. It took sufficient damage beyond its HP that it just outright died. And now, Raps is going to walk over here, and Raps is just going to take a step over to this one because it hurt his friend. This one is going to swoop over here, and it's going to try to exhale its gross breath on Anise. And it hits. You were breathed upon.
I'm going to try and hit it with the halberd.
You hit it with a big old halberd. Now it's Penelope's time.
She is very angry at this thing that has like clawed her. So she's gonna use vicious mockery. I'm gonna be like, that hurt, you stupid piece of shit.
It nat 20 to save. You cannot hurt its feelings. Now it's Kwaku's turn. As noted, Kwaku is not really much of a fighter, but he does have a stick, and he's gonna try to hit the one in front of him with a stick. Kwaku swings at the thing that just attacked Anise, and unfortunately it is small, and it is moving way better than he is in the snow. So he misses it and just smacks into the snow under it. And that's all he's got, because he also doesn't multi-attack. He is not that kind of character. There's a reason he built something else to fight for him. Next round, Anise is up first.
I missed. I'm gonna stay where I am. Just kind of keep holding the halberd.
He is going to try to claw at you. That is not going to hit you. And having just seen his friend turn to paste, it's going to fly down here, where it's presumably less likely to get turned into paste by a big silk golem. Then we're going to go to next on the list.
She's just gonna try and just fucking attack this thing with her short sword.
That's a hit.
Ooh,
You got
yeah.
Shanky. And now the smashing. Squish. That is dying. Burn, burn, burn. So he missed on that one, but 2 of them are dying. Okay, well, let's see what Kwaku does. He ran down, he swings, he misses. I was never good at cricket. And now it's that one's turn. So it's gonna take another swing at the one that's actually a threat to it. Oh, he hit Raps. He's clawing at him. Raps is now taking some damage. And now it's gonna try to run away. And it is retreating to the hills. All right, it is Anise's turn.
So I'll just kind of come here and stand and hold an action in case it comes back.
From where you're at right now, but you can actually see something glowing on that statue. You can't tell if it's writing or symbols or whatever, but there's something on it glowing. Kwaku, what you gonna do? He did it! He finally hit it. All right, so he charges down there, shouting at the top of his lungs, it's like, I hate violence! Smash! And then he hits it, and he smacks it square in its big nose, and it did not appreciate that. And now it's Penelope's turn.
Gotta yell at it.
Oh, it passed it.
Damn it.
These things have remarkable confidence. So now we're going to find out what happens. Raps is going to run down. He runs in a straight line, as golems tend to do. And that means his left shoulder and arm are going through that blizzardy sphere thing. Yep, he's fine. The wind seems like it's going to maybe topple him over to the side, but he is such a pile of web that he just powers right through it and ignores it. Gets over here, and then he lays into this thing. Blam! It's dead. How could this have ended any other way?
I stabbed one.
So did I. Yay!
Yay! High five.
Everyone hit something. Okay, so I hate those. Whatever they are.
They are gross.
So that's a statue, right?
I thought I saw something glowing on it, like runes or something.
That would explain a lot of this. If it is rune magic, it's not my specialty, but I feel like it might be yours.
Let me get closer to see if I can read what the runes are actually saying. I'm gonna try and walk into it. What happens?
Make a strength save. It pushes you back. You just can't get in. You can tell that they do look like runes, but you can't read them from here.
So I can't read them, and I can't really go inside the blizzard.
Raps, could you maybe screen the wind a little bit? You could walk in beside him just to, like, that side, because the way that it's blowing, we're going to take it as counterclockwise, so you can match pace with him. He's wind walling it for you, so you can get closer now. You can definitely read now. You got a 27 total on that perception roll. You can very easily read the runes that are on this one. There's actually a few layers of things going on here. On the bottommost layer, like the stuff that's actually carved into the statue, you can see a bunch of stuff that looks more like arcane magecraft, but there's a few runes etched over it, which are specifically the runes for wind and ice and chaos and big. What you can pierce together between the two of them is that the baseline amount of snow in the region is what the statue apparently makes. And these runes that are on it are apparently making it pull way more out of the ley line than it normally does and blasting it around way out of control, which would be why maybe the weather is ridiculously out of scope for right now. Given you know this is probably part of a bounded field meant to keep this area safe for the mages that live here, they would probably appreciate it if you maybe just got rid of the more chaotic part, essentially undoing the runes that are sort of etched onto it. Like, now that you can see it much closer, you can see that those weren't cut into it. You don't know what the liquid is, but some liquid has been put on it. That's the glowing faint part. And if that were to be removed, that would probably revert back down to normal. It's a bit colder and snowy. I'm just going to tell you because you work with a bunch of chemicals to make potions. The liquid that's on it, you read about it in books, but you've never actually seen it before. It actually seems to be like elemental blood, which is a weird concept because elementals don't bleed, but they do have an essence to them. The ones that you just mashed into the ground back there have the same liquid on them. Maybe there were 4 of these originally and one of them got to be paint. We don't know. It looks like it's frozen over, but you could probably just chip it off.
I'm gonna turn to Raps and say, keep standing as long as you can. I'm gonna take out the tea kettle. I'm going to assume I have some water in like a flask or something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna produce flame until I have it boiling.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna pour it onto the runes and see if they melt off.
As you do that, you manage to turn that off. It's just snowing now, and the snow is a lot less extreme. And because you rolled the 27 on your perception, which is absurd, you notice something else out of the corner of your eye while you're doing all of this. You actually saw it from inside the snow. To the southwest of here on that other hill, there's a bit of an opening area with no snow. Right about there. The snow's not even falling on it, even now. It's like suspiciously devoid of snow.
I'm going to point it out to the group and then go investigate. I'm gonna get to about right there and see if I notice anything suspicious, like a trap or anything.
What you notice is that none of the snow, even the snow falling right now, is falling in that area. Snow falls and it just disappears. It's coming into contact with something and then just gone.
But it's not melting.
It's not melting, it's just disappearing.
Something weird up here.
Nope, he's gonna run up.
Kwaku's gonna go take a look at that other one while you take care of this.
I will approach and cautiously put my hand up about where the snow, like the ground doesn't have snow on it, and see if I can feel anything.
You actually do feel something. Like there's something there that you can't see. Penelope, what you notice is that Anise disappears.
Huh?
Now that you're touching it, you can see this. It's another statue. But now that you're touching it, you can actually feel like it is very cold. There's a lot of snow on it. It looks like a man holding 2 knives, and right now your hand is actually touching his elbow.
Does it have runes on it?
No, but it does have some of those markings like the first one, like the original arcane ones. So as the previous one was focused on making a blizzard happen to protect the region, this one seems to be more about misdirection and hiding. There's a specific keyword that you translate out of this that is familiar to you: presence concealment, the art of not being seen. Speaking of which, Penelope has no idea what happened to you. You just disappeared.
Kwaku Anna's just disappeared?
So I can hear what she's saying.
Yeah, you could totally hear her. Nothing is different to you except for the fact that you can see the statue now.
I What? I'm right here.
You can barely hear her. It's more like an echo, like you think that's what she would be saying if she was here right now, but your brain's having a lot of trouble focusing on it.
I'm right here.
What?
Right in front of you.
Where did she go? What happened?
There's a statue here.
I can't hear her.
Did she turn into a tree? Is that a thing she does?
I don't know. I just met her yesterday.
What are you talking about? I'm right here.
It's like she's whispering in my ear. She came over here to check out this thing, and now she's just gone.
That's absurd. I don't know how that would happen. And
don't
he just
either.
walks right into you.
Whoa! Kwaku!
The instant he bumps into you, you appear in front of him and scare the crap out of him, and then you let go of the statue and you appear in front of Penelope, and you both just sort of stumble and fall on each other. You're visible again. Oh, there you are. Where did you go?
I touched... Oh. And I just reach out and touch the statue again. Can you see me?
Oh no, she's gone again.
And then I take my hand off the statue. So there's a statue right here, and I gesture towards it, but don't actually hit it. But it's invisible, and I guess I became invisible when I was touching it.
Penelope's gonna put her hand like where she saw and is putting her hand.
While you're all touching it, you can see each other too. Raps is concerned. Raps is kind of doing that thing that kids do when they're really nervous and they're like walking in place.
While I'm touching the statue, I'm gonna actually look around the area and see if I can see anything.
You can see kind of off in the distance that you're going now, the southeast. You do see in the far distance a big white castle poking out above the trees. It's going to be a bit of a walk, but you can see a direction to go in.
I'm gonna keep my eyes on the castle and take my hand off the statue. Do I still see it?
You do actually still see it.
Oh, well.
So, while you're touching the statue and you look over there, you see the castle. You also see something else, though, that disappears when you let go of it. On the horizon behind it and all around you, you can actually see almost like a glass dome, like a slight rippling that goes over the entire valley area. This dome appears to be in line with right where you first stepped into the forest and the disorienting thing hit Kwaku. This is what causes that effect, and it's the reason why people don't come wandering in.
I will relay that to the rest of the group.
I suppose these are what the Einsbones set up with their bounded field. That's 2 statues. It's probably a fair assumption that there's at least one more of these things somewhere. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for them to do 2 and them to be just right here. It's quite possible that they've got several layers of defense. Like, what I know of the Einsbones is that they're a very, very private family. Typically, no one visits them without an invitation and a guide.
Have I noticed any sort of wildlife?
You find some wolf tracks, maybe a pack of wolves, with one of them being somewhat larger than the rest. You do find some birds huddled up in one of the trees in a nest. You have never seen birds like this before.
I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals. Hello, I don't mean to alarm you, little birds. I just have some questions for you.
You're big!
What?
You're really big! Why do you
Yes, I
speak
know.
bird?
I promise I won't hurt you.
That's good.
I've never seen birds like you before. Have you lived in this forest your whole life?
Many moons.
Are there others like you?
Many more.
Anise, are you talking birds over there?
Yes. Do you have any suggestions for what I should ask them?
They know if there's any statues around. Birds like statues.
There are statues here. Do you know if there are any others in this forest?
Many more.
Have you ever been over to that big castle?
Plenty times. Nice ladies. Lot of food.
What other kinds of animals live here? I've seen wolf tracks.
Big wolf. Big cat. Big snake.
Have you ever been outside of this forest?
What's outside? Fly around circles. Always here. Always food.
I'm going to dig into my bag and pull out something bird appropriate and just kind of give it to them. Thank you for answering the questions, bird friends.
Like some food.
Of seeds or berries or something.
They'll start pecking away at it. Nice lady.
So I talked to some birds.
I noticed.
They cannot leave the forest, I think. They've never been outside of it.
Ooh,
They have been to the castle.
okay.
There are big wolves, big cats, and big snakes
Ooh, I don't like any of those.
in this area.
Big lizard. It's
Big
followed you and it's just sort of on a branch nearby. Big man.
It's a big man. They may be talking about raps, though.
Bigger man. Big man. Big tree.
Where is the big tree?
Castle. Big tree. Bigger than castle.
Bigger than the castle. I'll look at the castle. Do I see the big tree?
Now that you can see a little closer and there's less snow in the way, you can see that there's actually a huge tree growing right out of the middle of it, and it has branches sprouting off in all kinds of directions. Some of them are actually growing into the windows in the castle. You also notice as you're staring around, the forest, as you get closer to the castle, is much, much denser. The trees getting closer to the castle are actually less green and more of a burgundy leaf. The big tree sticking out of the castle in particular, it's red.
Big tree indeed. Birds, if you're not busy, would you mind possibly leading us to the castle? There's more seeds and berries involved.
Sure, go to castle. Just watch out, big man. Big man. Angry.
Are you talking about this big man? And I'll point to Raps.
No, he is small man.
So there's a big man at the castle that is much larger than Raps here. Interesting.
Oh no.
I said watch out for him. Birds, I don't know if you understand the concept of time, but I can only speak with you for short amounts of time. Just kind of fly around my head to get my attention if you need to speak with me.
You've got a goal, you've got a guide. We have finished this map adventure.
Yay!
And you got a big mystery on your hand.
And
Oh,
a
boy.
whole thermos of yeehaw chili.
I wonder if cell phones work in this giant dome.
Would you like to pull out your phone and find out?
Yes.
You get no bars.
Ah, shit.